For March 10th, 2026.
I move we approve minutes.
I second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kimberly Longley, broadband update, post fiscal year 2027 budget to be presented to the select board.
Okay, folks, so I am presenting to you in your capacity as the municipal light plans board. We're also the board. So you have a legal authority to oversee me as the broadband manager, and I've given you a 5-page memo, but really what we're gonna focus on, and that's for background, there's financial updates that I want to share with you about their current fiscal year, and then give you the contours of the 2027 proposed budget. So, as you know, the broadband department is different from all other departments in that we are an enterprise fund. And as such, I have to present information to you following the Commonwealth's rules for enterprise funds. So all of the budget presentations are following that format for a particular purpose to comply with enterprise fund rules. I will say that the things I'm seeking your input on is just general input on my proposed $343,000 budget, which includes compensation for me of $12,000. So you appoint me, you need to approve my compensation. I've included another $3,000 for other stipends. That's so I can retain an assistant manager to back me up when I'm out of town and to help me respond to alarms at the hub if I'm not able to do so. So that's item number 1 is the proposed big picture budget for next year. We were able to retain earnings as we have since we were operational of $43,880 last year. And as in the past, I am suggesting that we ask town meeting to approve the addition of that sum, $43,880, to the broadband stabilization fund, which town meeting created in 2021 for the purposes of setting aside money whenever we earn profit over our expenses for future upgrades, improvements, repairs, equipment additions, etc. So that we would not have to go back to the town out of the general funds to do those activities, given that we're a revenue generating department. That requires a town meeting vote, so it always has to go to annual town meeting. And then I just want to bring up an operational issue that I stumbled upon this week, which is that software licenses. So I can elaborate and make a recommendation to you about that. But before we go into the next year, I just want to give you a quick update. Yes.
Software licenses for
My department,
for your department.
how we're purchasing it sort of inefficiently. Okay. So bottom line for this current fiscal year is that I am projecting that we will be producing a $53,000 surplus. I'm on target almost exactly by $68. I'm a little bit over revenue by $68. I project. That means no new customers are going to come on and no one's going to leave between now and June. So it's an estimate. But
Jessica, but you have your broadband connection yet?
it's not gonna happen for you. You have to have a, bigger house. Anyway, but there may be new customers coming up, but I'm forecasting my revenue will be on target. My expenses are trending below target. Primarily because we haven't had a major wind, fire, or other ice disaster that like we did in 24, which, put the repair expenses to almost $100,000. So there are a lot of things that have gone over budget and under budget. There are basically 40 line items in my budget, but the repairs are what's driving the savings this year. So again, I'm estimating a surplus, and have a lag of about a year to be able to use any surpluses. So you have to close the fiscal year, you have to go through the Department of Revenue certification. And then I come back to you this time next year and tell you, let's add it to the stabilization fund next year. On the, let's
And it
see,
looks like the stabilization fund
Thomas,
will be topped off next year.
we're very close. Yeah,
29,138.
yep, we're very close. So in the budget sheet,
And before we move on that,
okay,
what happens to any money over the amount that you need pulling on the stabilization?
when we get there, which could be a year or two, I would like to have a conversation with the MLP board, aka the select board, and finance committee about how best to use the revenues generated by this department if we're continuing to produce the surpluses that we have. The objective of the broadband department is to serve its ratepayers, so the people who subscribe to the service. If we are generated surpluses from their business on our network, we have an option to lower their rates. We also have an option, which might be a fiscally prudent thing to do, to accelerate the debt payment. Now, we're projecting that the debt with the CAF 2 grant and with regular general fund principal and interest payments that are about $100,000 a year, we're projecting that that debt is going to be retired by 2023. So not too far down the road.
We're past 2023.
I mean, sorry, 2033. 33. I would do that. I miss a decade.
Hence my confusion.
So it's not too far on the horizon, and I think the finance committee needs to be involved because it's a debt strategy. Sometimes it's better to borrow at a lower interest rate and pay it off
Well,
over
I
time.
would include the town treasurer. too.
Exactly. So we're ways from that. I want to see that we've fully funded that $400,000 stabilization, and then I will do my best to organize a thoughtful process that may want to include town participation about the strategy here. Again, it's our obligation and your obligation as the MLP board to serve the ratepayers.
Not the town.
Yeah. So bottom line, we've got 4 more months left in the year. I think my estimates are good. We're currently serving 293 customers. We brought in 2 new commercial customers this year. That was Wolf Tree Farm added a second connection. And we reconnected the former AmeriCorps compound at the Dubuque State Forest headquarters just over the line in Holly off of Route A, and that's now the headquarters, the Western Mass headquarters of the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. So they're back online and a fee payer to us. I couldn't do anything with Holly because Holly has not built a fiber. So that's this current year. We're in good shape. I again predict a surplus. Next year, as Paula and Ben have requested of me year over year, I'm proposing a break-even scenario. So even though we never break even, there will always be a budget is a guide. It's not a rule. I'm proposing $343,000 operating budget, which is covered fully by the proceeds generated from the sales of internet service and phone service. I have included estimates on the indirect expenses, and that is about $150,000. That's the debt service that I just talked about. Those numbers are going to change because Ben needs to get me some data on exactly what the interest is going to be this year, et cetera. So that's a placeholder. But again, that does not come out of the broadband operations, the debt payment, because town owns the debt, the department does not. See, I've given you 3 budget presentations. It's a little cumbersome, but the first sheet on the, I should probably get a budget for eyeglasses for everyone. But, the first sheet on the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns is basically what's called the variance report for this current year. It shows the major budget categories, what I've spent already, what I'm forecasting, what will end up by June 30th, the difference between what I initially estimated and what was actually going to happen, and then a description of those variances. And then the last 2 columns is the proposed 2027 budget. So you can see the numbers side by side. What was the current year? What is the future year? That's the most detailed part of the financial presentation. Sheet number 2 is same data and sheet number 1 is 2 pages. Sheet number 2 is the same data, but in a much more summarized. It doesn't have all the variance reporting. And it gives you, I think, an easier to read presentation of the direct, the indirect. And then sheet number 3 is the actual wording of the warrant article. So once we get down to actually finalizing the warrant article, this is here for a specific reason so that you can reference the language that needs to go in the warrant article. Again, there may be some changes to the indirect cost numbers there, and I should know those soon. The last sheet that I included in this presentation was the stabilization fund. So it's showing what the goal was each year, what we've added. Current balance is in the stabilization fund. So we have a goal of 400,000. Currently have $326,952 set aside. That's from town meeting votes through last May. We have a balance of $73,018 to get to that goal. And as I've just said, I'm proposing that the money that we earned last year be added. So that's $43,880, which would leave us just $29,138 left to fund to meet the goal. So as you predicted or suggested, Judy, yeah, I think we're going to be able to do that by town meeting 2027.
Great.
Couple of other things, just not anticipating raising rates. Continue to charge $85 a month for residential service. We charge $12.95 a month for the voice phone. We don't make money on that. It's just a password. Whip City doesn't make money on it. We just charge what the Uma phone service charges us as a convenience to residents. And then we have a commercial pricing tier. The lowest rate is 100. Then we customize for various unique situations like the Wolf Tree Farm or the DCR or the Peppermint Park Campground, which is seasonal. We do a lot of custom work to make it affordable for businesses to tie into the network. Again, I'm assuming 293 customers. And I think going back to the top line, I always include an unforeseen an allowance for contingency, just $18,000 this year. And I think the top line things again are, if you have input about this general picture I presented, and specifically if you approve the compensation for me at 12,000, that's topic number 1.
And you need us to vote on.
I think voting on the compensation would be good.
Ready with no problem? I move that we vote to compensate Kimberly at a rate of $12,000 a year for her service as the broadband manager.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Thank you. And
I
then,
have one question for you,
sure,
or do you want to finish your presentation first? I don't know if it affects it or not.
I don't either.
Well, it has to do with sort of what's happening in the larger world economy with the increase in prices for gas and diesel and all this stuff. And the answer could be, I don't know, but my question is, how do you anticipate that might affect broadband operations or expenses or
significantly, and I've included it in my assumptions.
Okay, great.
So I have a map formula to forecast. But I also talked closely with Whip City Fiber, who we are in a 10-year contract with for their service provision. And anytime they roll a truck, their rates kick in, right, to repair, whether it's the plant fiber on the roads or someone's house.
Yeah,
There's a union contract that is coming up in the middle of next fiscal year, so I've made some guesses about what those labor rates for service calls will change based on the union's negotiations. And then absolutely, we have probably 12 major service providers in addition to Whip City that are Jordan Propane, Eversource, the alarm company. Anytime somebody has to roll a truck to help me do something up here, their costs are going up and ours are gonna go up too.
I'd like to borrow your crystal ball.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm just thinking,
But there's
how do you build an algorithm to anticipate a refinery in Texas blowing up and increasing the cost of diesel by,
Yeah.
$3
I
a day?
mean, I've been in a financial role for almost 40 years at various capacities, and I do have a good sense of how to model. But that's why you have a budget, and it's also why you control every possible payment.
Yes.
Like, don't be frivolous. So that's the answer to that. The second piece of business is, I think you don't need to vote on this because this is a town meeting, but do you generally agree we should set aside the surpluses against to the stabilization?
Well, don't we have to vote on that as the MLP board?
That's a good idea. I mean,
I move that we recommend to the town meeting that they adopt the recommendation of adding any surpluses at the end of a year to the stabilization fund until it is filled. And then having a conversation about what we do with any future surplus.
All in favor?
you. Alright, the last thing is really tiny, but I have to have a lot of software like Adobe Acrobat Plus and Microsoft because I'm constantly filling out documents and contracts. I don't need it for my regular work. I am licensed in my real full-time job. But Shannon, I know, recently asked you to add something for the assessors staff person. And she moved me into that email and I thought, oh, let me check. And the rate that the town is paying through, I think it's BlackRock group that's bundling licenses. You may have the ability to buy up to 9 seats on Adobe. We're getting $145 for that software license, and I'm paying just as a human being for they want me buying it straight from Adobe. It's $250 a year, so it's almost $100 more.
Why are you paying out of your pocket? It should be.
Well, I get
either-
reimbursed, I submit for reimbursement. But I think you may remember this conversation a couple of years ago, Judy, when we were talking about the town office budget, how there are people like me who just need to get what they need to do to get their job done.
Right.
For years, there was no group buying for the town office budget. I think, I know for sure you should just put me on that group and then we'll all save $100 and I'm happy to reimburse the general fund from the broadband department.
I move that we add broadband manager to the town's group subscription to Adobe Acrobat Pro. And that we do not ask for reimbursement, because we still have
You know, a couple more spots, I think.
4 or 5 more seats, even after she's at it. It's not like everybody,
Don't look at the motion.
not,
Yeah. So stop, I mean,
right.
before you go to ask, I was going to suggest that I may not be alone. Like, I don't know if other major
It might not be
committees
a what?
alone and
Oh.
if paying for out of pocket and. You know, it's just extra work for everybody, right? I submit a reimbursement, Ben has to write a check, Paula has to book it.
A lot of people don't know, and I count myself among them, don't know how to effectively exact that Acrobat Pro. I bought it myself for a while and it drove me crazy. It was not intuitive. I screwed things up more than I fixed them, so I went back to just using Acrobat Reader to create PDFs and creating my documents in whatever software I understood.
Okay,
So I think that if people ask, we can do it up to the point that we got enough.
yeah, I
And
just don't know if you don't know, right? It might be worth putting a little note out to major departments, committees saying. FYI, we group by, if you're using something, let us know, we can figure it out. That would be nice,
that could be a
but
comment.
thank you for letting me into the group.
I could be a comment to the next all boards.
Here.
Oh, all right. I move that we include the broadband manager in group subscription for Adobe Acrobat Pro with no extra, the town's subscription. Yeah. And I don't think there's a necessity to reimburse us because,
And I'm paying for everybody's internet.
well, and the town owns your debt and, you know,
It's all good.
it's trivial.
How much of that was emotion there, Judy?
None of it's fine.
Didn't make money.
I did. I said I moved that we make the broadband manager a part of the town's subscription to Adobe Acrobat.
Thank you. I'll
And then
second
there was a
that.
post law.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Excellent report, Kimberly.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Fiscal year 2024.
Wait, I want to say thank you. You do a fabulous job with this. This is the one report that, I mean, you do a fabulous job. Yeah, thank you.
Fiscal year 2027 budget request form to be filled out by select.
Ah,
First is treasurer, fiscal year 26 approved. $21,500 spent through. Fiscal year 26 spent through 12/31/25. It's $10,750.
I thought we already discussed this.
No, supposed to, we never did.
I do think we did.
No, we started to, and they got pushed off to go on another meeting and finished the first page.
Okay. So do you want us to make a motion on that or want us to comment on it or?
Yeah, well, we put something.
I think we, level fund, well, wait a minute. That's for the this is,
This is for wages.
all right,
Not cost of living.
yeah, I know you don't. Cost of living. Well, this one for next year, I'm paying 37.5 because we wanted to increase the hours by 10 hours. This one, I think he deserves some sort of raise. More than the cost of living, let's say, $1,000 or two, at least, I'd say 2,000, 2,500. And then,
She wants $2,500 more because she's certified now.
okay. I think she said she does a good job. I mean, that seems low to me anyway, but let's just go for it and the finance committee can cut it later. That's what I tell everybody on their budget, ask for what you want. And let the finance committee or the town meeting push back about that so that, you know, we'll end up with a balanced budget. But you shouldn't self-edit before you give the town the case of why you're asking for it.
For account. to 20 grand.
Yes, at least, yes.
Then our stipends, sleep.
Yeah, I don't really do anything to that, unless you want to reduce.
Someone's got to.
I can suggest that, 'cause it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Where's the easy button?
Air Marshal, Executive Assistant, search update.
I would very much be happy to introduce Jessica Marshall, who's no relation to me, who was, voted upon by the unanimous select board to fill our position of executive assistant to the select board, starting on April 20th. Jessica and her partner are currently building a house in town. So I'm in town right now, but soon,
Working on it.
working on it. Welcome.
Reminder that 2025 annual reports are now overdue. Still, yeah. Don't have any volunteers or representative for vocational education advisory committee. It's still on the website, and I think it's in something else.
What's involved with that?
I don't know.
I have advisory
Paula,
committee meetings, there's an email about it, hang on. They only meet a couple of times a year, let me see,
You need something else to do, Ed?
that's my respect. Thanks. Yeah, if you're really gung ho, jump on it, but I was going to speak with, Dave Northwood, our new school committee representative, and see if he might be interested in taking this on too, since the actual contact time here is limited. But I haven't had a chance to catch up.
Deal with Smith School quite a bit.
I'm sorry.
I deal with Smith School quite a bit.
I'm gonna find the description. Wait a minute.
While you look.
Yeah.
There's a letter received from the Franklin Ranch Trust informing Plainfield of its 21st annual self-guided recreational bicycle ride, the D2R2 Deerfield Dirt Road. Ron D or whatever, on Saturday, August 22nd at 2026.
Sorry, what was that?
This is a bicycle ride on.
Oh, great.
Sign up, Judy.
Oh, no. Last time I rode a bicycle, I dead dropped at least twice when I came to a stop, so I'm not doing that. Will testify, it was not, I received, this is from Stan Crawford. Plainfield has not had a representative for the Vocational Education Advisory Committee who has been able to attend meetings for nearly a year. I know that you have discussed the need to appoint someone at 2 meetings this fall, winter. We are at a very busy time of year for assembling information about new applicants to Smith Voc and Franklin Tech, and planning for transportation that will be needed for 26-27 school year. It is essential for you to have someone who can communicate with your students, families, and verify their attendance and transportation needs. Charlemont and Ashfield have appointed their town administrators to this committee, and that works well because they do the communication with families. Or Paula King served on this committee for a long time, possibly you could encourage her to do so again. At any rate, I worry that you will not have the information you need to plan for your town meeting warrant articles to cover the cost of vocational transportation if you do not have a representative. We meet a maximum of 5 times a year, and the meetings are usually less than an hour and a half. Our next meeting will be April 7th at 10, presuming that's AM. at the Charlemont Town Hall, although it doesn't say that. We could make arrangements for someone to attend remotely if necessary. Please let me know as soon as possible who you have appointed so that I may welcome them and get them some information they'll need. Thank you very much. Suzanne Crawford, Chair of the MTRSD School Committee, Representative, BEAC. So, are you saying you want to do it, Ed?
That's not gonna work for David.
If you have somebody else,
That's not gonna work for him if we're attending it with mid-morning meeting.
It's not gonna work for who?
David, our new school team.
Oh,
Not gonna work.
I wasn't asking about him, I was asking about Ed.
We're listening, because I said I was gonna connect with him.
Oh,
Well, we
no, I
got
was
somebody-
looking for the email.
So that won't work for Mr. Rumford.
You know who might be interesting, although it won't work for the person they want. Won't work for the person they want. But she's going to find, so. She was gonna get our representative to the MTRST school committee. But they have a job. Does that work for you and would you want to do it? All right, well, let's talk about other people then on the off chance that Ed says no for the first time in his life. Like, what about some people who live in town who've been to Rochester?
Maybe, I ain't doing.
Well, no, but I'm thinking of other people too. I mean, haven't several of Roberta and Jamie's kids been to Rochester?
No, they would follow.
No?
Well, this is one
Oh.
town.
What about? Did Ian Stanislaw go to Votek? But I think after, at a certain point, he went to Votek.
Means,
So maybe we should get the list of people in town who have
Graduated from.
Votek from our town clerk. Who's supposed to keep those records, is she not? Well, yes, she is. She's supposed to keep all of the enrollment lists, accounts for MTRSD, for our town. So that we can check them against the enrollment numbers that we are charged for in the way state mandates the school district.
I'll follow up with Luke to speak. Keep time.
I can do it if you want, so I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I spoke with her this morning about getting the police revolving fund finally set up and operating. And she said she was unaware of any motion for the special town meeting at which it was approved. So we just have to dig out the
Okay, go ahead.
posting. All right,
Got some from Eversource, position pole and wire location, hearing. Purpose and description, Eversource is requesting permission to install 140-foot utility pole. Number 131. /11 with the anchoring along Campbell Road to extend facilities from our last existing pole. If you have the southern side of the road, approximately 20 feet from the road center line pole, 31/11, be approximately 160 feet east of pole /10. I know we are now. That's why, so you can get some power now.
Yes,
Sure
we
enough.
are.
Well, I don't think it's my fault, I think it's.
By the next one down.
I know.
So typically you would invite me to that hearing and I'm pretty flexible on when you wanna schedule it. I'd like to be present so that I can see the specs and.
and look out for the welfare of our broadband network.
But we have to attach to every pole.
So worried.
You have to, there's a whole notification, so.
So,
Public meetings are 2 weeks in advance. Right?
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna look at the calendar and see. Sometimes the first meeting of the next month is 3 weeks from the last meeting of the prior month, depending on when Tuesday is falling. One, two, and this would be one of them. So the first meeting, our first meeting for the month of April is on April 14th. Because we're the second and fourth, right? Or are we the first and the third?
Second.
So that's what I thought, second and fourth. And 2 weeks from tonight is April 7th, which is a week before our next select board meeting. So we have enough time to get it posted if you wanted to do it in combination with our meeting on April 14th.
Yeah, so, or this, we just set the date,
All right,
as long as they can show up. Imagine.
so if you want to set it up for the 14th, does somebody have to check with them about it or?
I'll sleep, no,
I mean, Shannon has been scheduling this might be a good training moment for.
If she's not on the clock there.
I know, but
Yeah, these things will come up when they come up and, this is an opportunity. I agree.
because the applicant with Eversource has to send certified notice to the abutters process.
Okay, we'll sort that out. But it has to be done by a week from today. That's what should go in the minutes, so everybody knows.
the 14th. It's bad, well, bad.
Well, that's what we're doing. What I'm saying, if we wanted it for, it had to be posted by the 31st. And that's before we have another meeting. Saying it out loud, in minutes, so that everybody will hear about it.
Questions?
It's a special town meeting, ask for all, right?
April 21st. No, we haven't. I sent it to David Dineski. And I told him I want it. He had been away for a while, and so I gave him extra time, and I said, please get back to me before the end of the month, because that would leave us 3 weeks to get it posted before the 21st. So if I don't, I think I will probably have it before the end of this week. But if I don't have it by Wednesday or Thursday, I was gonna ping him today, and then I looked at my original message and said, I told him by the end of March, so I'm a little ahead of schedule on that. But when we get a day or two before the end of March, I'll see just a reminder if you have any comments on foreign. And then we'll get it back. Now, we won't have a select board meeting between now and the day it has to be posted, which is the 14th. And so what I would do is get it printed out on town letterhead and everything. And then let my colleagues here know the warrant is ready to be signed, and we each go sign it. And when all of us have signed it, town offices call you and say, or I can do what I've done before, just deliver. I mean, I've been in the habit of doing the town warrant circuit. I'm going to Care, to Ben, and then to you. Which is not a big burden, and I'm happy to do it. But we will get it to you before the 14th, so that it's not a last minute schmozzle.
One more question I guess. You ever thought about point moderator? Finish ranks? Well, out, what, January 1st?
That's a good point, and we haven't discussed it at a public meeting, but we need to do that. And there are a couple of names that have been floated. Are you volunteering?
No.
I thought I should ask. So I'll just say the names that have come up in my conversations with various people, not just people in this room. And Kara may be surprised by this. I thought that Bert Marshall might make a good moderator because he's got a booming voice, he's a well-known presence, he's accustomed to public speaking.
You can ask him, but he'll decline.
Oh,
I think about the two that's been nominated, David.
I can't ask either of them because that would be election interference, I think. We'd be tipping the scale one way or the other, whoever did it. You can't have, I mean, I suppose it could be like the Smothers Brothers or something, but I don't think that works.
But
I mean,
Even if it works, it's appropriate.
yeah, if it was only one person, we might have tried that out
that's.
because it's a foregone conclusion, but because it's a contested race, I think we can't choose either one of them. Who were some other people? There were other people we talked about. I talked about with people in town. And I can't
I
remember.
don't like the special town. And
Well, I think the scale of this room is better suited for you than the scale of
I've
the,
done annual town,
yeah.
I'm getting old.
You're immortal.
Huh?
You are immortal. He thinks he is.
Well, wait. You guys, who can you guys think of? We could go beg Rowan to do it one last time. You know who we should have asked? Peg Keller. That'll teach you to show up at a selection.
We're thinking about trying to find someone, so.
Okay,
If you have ideas, you have suggestions,
it's just at annual town meeting, hate to have somebody, you know, navigate that, on board, don't know anything about it.
No, we're not gonna let that happen. I guarantee you, we have thought about that eventuality and we know that we have to have somebody already designated and signed in to do it on a temporary
He's
basis.
knowledgeable.
Who's knowledgeable and quite possibly coachable. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be one person, it was suggested by someone that we get a successful town moderator from a neighboring town. I didn't think that would sit too well.
That would work.
I didn't think so either. I thought that was, no, this is the Plainfield town meeting. Kimberly, your name came up.
Like, always. Being in the town meeting, and I'm a major department head. Anyway, Massachusetts has a town moderators association, and that might be worth a phone call for them. To see if there are any support services or floating people that
Floating town moderators.
moderators. I mean, it's often our neighboring communities have meetings the same week or weekend.
Ours is usually earliest.
Yeah, but they're all busy.
Yeah,
So the Moderators Association, as I understand it from Rowan, is super accessible and helpful and wants to help, so thank you for that.
Better have somebody every time when they read it over.
Absolutely.
That somebody take them on board.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to call him?
Either you or me, I don't care.
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
I'm not in need of more things to do these days.
Questions?
Good for me.
I just want to inform the board, Mass DOT awarded us 2 signboards, speed signboards. I sent the MOA today, they're notifying me when they're gonna ship record to us. They have to be installed within 90 days. I already spoke to Mark, the highway department, he can install it for us. We might have to purchase the poles they go on. They're gonna be solar powered. They work out Wi-Fi, we have to report the data back to the state.
Great. Do do I recall correctly that one of them was pole mounted and the other one was mobile?
We actually changed it to pole mounted.
Oh, okay.
It's just easier than having to worry about towing it and securing it to a plate.
And where are you planning on putting it?
One was gonna be in the area of Hill Street on 116 or southbound traffic, the other was gonna be. Maybe around Mr. Tire for northbound traffic.
I don't know where Hill Street is, but that's okay.
Going down the hill towards.
That's because I don't usually go past Prospect.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just past, just on the curve by the church.
Oh,
It looks like a driveway, but it
Yeah.
used to be a through road.
okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Well,
Excellent.
That's great news.
So.
I move we adjourn.
Wait, excuse me,
Oh,
Peter,
Sorry, dear.
just wanted to know if you wanted to set the date, time of a potential meeting with the planning board.
oh, thank you. He mentioned this to me at the very beginning. The planning board is working on a revised town zoning bylaw. And the procedure is for the planning board has to present it to the select board. And then we have to refer it back to the planning board for their recommendation.
You know, at that point, we, hold a public hearing for it to be viewed by the townsfolk. And so our timeline is that we need to have it before town meeting. We need the public hearing before town meeting. And the last date that we could possibly do that would be the 29th, which means we'd have to advertise that public hearing on the 22nd and the 15th.
29th of April.
Yes,
All right, so you have, so you need to have,
so ideally,
we need to have the special town meeting. It can't, it's too late if we do it on the 14th.
well, we need to send the advertisement to the paper in advance, a week in advance. So it'd be great if during the week of the 8th, you could potentially find time to meet with me, and it can be during the day.
The
Or,
week of which? Oh, I'm looking at March, sorry, that's why I was. Well. No, April 8th is Wednesday.
and yes, I'm saying if I could meet with you before that, after the 1st, that would be ideal.
So, all right, folks. Tuesday the 3rd, Friday, or Tuesday the 2nd, Friday the 3rd, Monday the 6th. I think that's Easter weekend.
Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I said, Thursday the 2nd, Friday the 3rd, Monday the 6th. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's Easter weekend, so I don't know how that affects anybody's schedule.
not me.
Nor I, but I think it might affect Karen. And then the 7th. Well,
The Tuesday.
yeah, wait a minute,
That's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
that is a Tuesday, but we could do a special town meeting.
No, so
Or
it's not-
special select board meeting.
Correct,
We can do it anything.
that's correct.
And
I just need to know when it's gonna be, and you're gonna need to post it 48 hours in advance.
Tuesday after. Before 8, actually, for me.
so we're talking Tuesday the 7th? I'm wide open.
Yeah.
You pick your time, since you're the one that has the strength. What time would you like to do it? Not before 9 AM.
It's
10 o'clock,
10 o'clock,
does that work for you, Peter?
sure. Just means it has to be posted on that Friday by 10 o'clock.
Do it here, or do you want to do it in the library room?
Here's fine.
All right, good here.
All right.
Okay,
I will send it to you in advance so that you're not looking at it for the first time on so.
okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I will adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.